Two things happen to me every winter when it gets really cold. People swear at me more, and they mistake me for a thermometer. You ever get that? Every winter there's always at least one bloke walks up and goes, "Oh, get fucked, how cold is it?"
And right he was, 'cause fuck, it's cold. Winter riding is not everyone's cup of tea. A lot of bikes get all cleaned up, put under a cover, and they go into hibernation like a big old grizzly bear. Having the right winter riding gear makes chilly rides a lot more bearable. Get it? Bearable? 'Cause the grizzly bear reference. Anyway, down here almost at the very bottom of the southern side of this special place called Earth, we're at the beginning of winter, and it's getting increasingly more and more difficult to keep warm on our beloveds when we venture out for our therapy sessions on two wheels. So I've created a cute little list of all things that will keep you toasty warm when it's fucking cold. Let's get to it. Number 1. Not only used for robbing banks, but also used for keeping one of your most exposed areas warm and protected. It's a trusty old balaclava. Now this can actually have the adverse effect. Too much of a good thing can cause your noggin to turn from toasty warm to a sweaty mess in no time. A balaclava can also be used as a neck warmer if this is the case. Now, not all are made equal. Getting something that has some sort of antibacterial and hypoallergenic anti-odor technology should be pretty high on your priority list. After a few sweaty rides, putting a cheap and nasty one on is just like wrapping your gym undies around your face and sticking your helmet on. For $70, you'll thank me for this suggestion. Second on the list, losing the feeling and sensation in your hands is not an ideal scenario considering the significant importance they have on the operation of the two-wheeled rocket you're holding onto. And quite frankly, in extremely low temperatures, it can really bloody hurt. Keeping some heat at your fingertips with a pair of heated gloves will ensure your digits remain frost-free. Unless you've got guards on protecting your hands, your gloves are the only thing keeping the extremes from wreaking havoc on your delicate phalanges and metacarpals and other oddly named parts of your hands. Heated gloves aren't the cheapest option. A pair of inners in your summer gloves will aid in keeping Jack Frost off your fingers, but nothing is as comfortable as the tender kiss of warmth to your hands. You'll have to part with at least a couple of $100, but you'll be able to send a big fuck off to Jack Frost with a pair of these bad boys. Number 3. Thermal clothing. Getting yourself a good set of thermal clothes, aiding keeping the warmth in and the cold out, is one of the more discreet ways of keeping warm. As I'm sure you know, the cold has a severe reaction to the human body, and the colder it gets, the slower we get. And if you didn't know that, well, you can come out from under the rock now. Take the historic case of Jack Dawson, for example. Submerged in near-freezing water, his vitals slowed down to the point of a hypothermic death. Now, digression alert, might I add, dying an unnecessary death, as there was more than enough room on that bloody door for two. A similar but not so dramatic or award-winning effect can happen to your body if exposed to cold conditions. Your reflexes will slow down, and that's the last thing you want happening on any ride. The same rule of thumb applies. Getting yourself something with a hypoallergenic anti-odor feature will help keep that stank away. Number 4. High-quality outer shell clothing. Most people, when they think of Australia, instantly go to there's more animals that'll kill you than won't. Koalas are a type of bear that drop out of trees, also trying to kill you, and that's hotter than the inner circles of hell. Now, most of these couldn't be farther from the truth. Right down the very bottom of this sun-scorched country, there's one of the most livable cities. But that title clearly didn't take into consideration how goddamn cold it is in winter and how much water can fall in one teeny tiny location of this beautiful globe. Having a good quality set of waterproof protective clothing is the safest way to stay dry and warm, giving you all the protection should the slippery conditions bring you unstuck, but also keeping you dry when Mother Nature decides it's time for a deluge. The sky's the limit, as I know you're all aware. Jackets, pants, boots. If you want the best, you best prepared to part with $1,000 or $2. And finally, number 5. Well, you can just drive your car. You can set your dual zone climate control just the way you want it. Just kidding. Number 5 is making sure your visor is set up for the rather moist conditions that come to be inside your closed helmet. Your warm breath mixed with a super cold visor turns into condensation. And fog has a funny way of making visibility disappear pretty damn quick. Investing in a Pinlock anti-fog insert is a fairly cheap and effective way to almost eliminate this issue on its own. And for as little as $50, it's not the most expensive thing in your set. So braving the cold doesn't have to be like a forced ice bath on two wheels. With the right gear and preparation, it can be just like riding on any other day. Just be sure to take extra care around other road users, especially if it's raining heavily. We can kind of blend in like a good weave in the spray from the road. Now, I've put the links in the description below to make life a little easier if online perusing isn't your thing. As always, stay safe and enjoy the ride. Until the next one, we'll see you then.